It's your daily dose of Donna, and today is Tuesday, May 30th. We are almost at the end of the May month. Can't believe it. It took me a solid 4 hours to remember that it's not Monday. I usually go to a 9 a.m. yoga class on Tuesdays. But this morning when I woke up, I was like, oh, because I slept in, because we were out all day yesterday. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about that. And I was confused. I was like, there's not a good yoga class 9 a.m. on Monday. Where am I going to work out today? And then sure enough, it's Tuesday, which means that we have 4 days this week. You guys were lucky you got a show yesterday, but we have 4 days this week. And then next week, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I leave on my trip. So we have 9 more daily doses, daily, before we're taking a little bit of a hiatus until the beginning of July or the end of June. For those of you that have not joined the Facebook group, go ahead and join the Daily Dose of Donna Facebook group. The link is below. It's on all my links. And also, if you do want to be part of a text community where I can text you when I'm going live, et cetera, et cetera. I have a poll in there and I'm going to be setting that up. Obviously, you guys are into the idea. I'll be setting that up this week using community, and that way I can just communicate with you guys. I'm so excited about that. You guys love Lance, by the way. For those of you that were on the live yesterday on TikTok, and then, of course, those of you that watch the YouTube or listen to the podcast, y'all love Lance. Like, I think you love Lance maybe more than me, which is concerning considering this is not called Daily Dose of Lance. It's called Daily Dose of Donna. So what are we going to do about Camera Lance? Luckily, I am married to him. Darlene for sure loves him more than me. Luckily, I am married to him, and we will have him back on the show as often as possible. You guys are amazing. I've never heard him so hot on himself. Like, he is, you guys should have seen him this morning, and I think it's for a TikTok that they're doing, but he's in a full-on baseball gear, like wearing baseball pants, like tight baseball pants. He's participating in a softball game, a coach's softball game on Saturday morning. And I got to go and support my husband. Okay, as always, the show is brought to you by Ilia, which is right behind me. I'm going to grab a couple bottles. Yesterday, I brought out the rosé, so today I'll bring out the Moscatel Macabeo. Love this one. This is a perfect lunch one. Hey, Camera Lance, we were just talking about you. And then, of course, the Roble, which is a red wine. There's also beers. There's also going to be a non-alcoholic. If you go to ilia.com and use the code DAILY20 for 20% off, this wine and beer ships directly to you. There's a few states that she's still working on to get it to, but it ships directly to you. It is so lovely, so drinkable. The bottles are beautiful. This can be used as a gift. It can be used just as your own wine. And most of the people that are purchasing it are pretty shocked at how reasonable the prices are. Because if you want like a real deal, nice bottle of wine, we're not talking about $2 chuck here. We're talking about good wine. Sometimes it's a little bit pricey, especially if you're getting it shipped to you from Spain. So this is a wonderful gift. I know Father's Day is around the corner, birthdays, graduations. Don't get kids wine, but maybe the parents of the graduates, right? Okay, I'm going to move it right over here. I know on TikTok you can't see it, but you can see it on YouTube. Okay, so yesterday we had a fun day. We went over to my friend's house in Calabasas. She lives in a gorgeous home, beautiful backyard, and we barbecued. And well, when I say we barbecued, like I ate the barbecue food. I did not cook, but we ate, we drank, we ate more, we drank more, and then we continued to eat. And when I got home last night, I ate so much that I slept horribly. Do you guys ever have that? Like after you drink and eat a lot and you just like your stomach is off and you're waking up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my God, I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. That was my night. So that's why I slept in this morning. Lance, my favorite Lance, he brought it over to, he brought the kids to the bus because I needed to get back in bed. I was so tired. Do they ship overseas? They do ship overseas to certain countries, but I'm not sure specifically where. I know, obviously, it's a Spain-owned wine, Ilia, but we don't know exactly. I have to find out specifically where they do and do not ship, but you can find it all on the website, ilia.com. And of course, Daily 20, don't forget, hook a sister up, support me. Okay, so couple things. I want to talk about Summer House today. Are you guys into Summer House? Did you watch the reunion? Are you interested in it? I have to say the reunion was pretty good. I watched it this morning while I was getting ready for today. And I will say, like, I am pretty I'm pretty impressed with how kind of watchable it was. But let's just get into Summer House for a little bit. So those of you guys that are Summer House watchers, you're going to be into this. And then of course I'll bring you up to speed on a couple different other reality updates and, like, little pop culture news things that have hit my eyes or like jumped out at me. First of all, Summer House. Without going deep and too into it, I will say this. I am sick and tired of watching shows that feel like it is. I know this is a word that is a trigger word, the bullying, but it's one against many or many against one in this case. And I know that Lindsay doesn't have, she's not alone in this. She's got Carl next to her. She's got some of the new kids that like her a lot, Sam and Gabby, et cetera, and Chris. But that there was one side of the couch, this is what we're always going to see. And we'll see it on the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion. There's one side of the couch, which is like, they always seat people opposite from like your buddies. Well, a gang up is a great way to say it, Siobhan. The one side of the couch with Kyle, Amanda, Paige, Danielle, Sierra, and Maya. Sorry. I'm very, very triggered by Maya's conversation with Sam, and I'll explain that in a moment. That group of people hate Lindsay so much. Who knew Paige would be leading the charge on that one? Now, I have had my moments with Paige. Those of you that are kind of just trying to like follow or understand, Paige DeSorbo is she's got a podcast called Giggly Squad. She's been on Summer House for years. She's dating Craig from Southern Charm. He was not at the reunion. Craig was not there. Maybe he'll show up later, but not in this first one. But seriously, this is a group of girls that all they do for the entire summer, and this is not a joke, all they do for the entire summer is lay in their beds. Like, they show up to a couple of the dinners, a couple of the rosé, a couple of the parties, and then they find themselves back in the beds. There's always like the most used camera angle in that show is the RoboCam that is in Paige's bedroom, because it's like they live, breathe, die, eat, sleep, probably pee in that bed. It's the most disgusting and kind of gross thing. And also, they're so messy. And I say this like, fine, season 1 when you're like 25, but then you watch the show back and you're like, this is disgusting that I live in this filth. And they don't care. They know that they're going to be shot in those beds all day long, and they don't know how to fold a shirt. And I understand you're only there for a weekend and you're probably hammered and drunk the entire time. But like, Paige, you care so much about your mom. You care so much about your parents and being close to them. Like, don't you want to impress them a bit and say like, hey, mom, look, I can kind of take care of my life here. It's really weird. Carl and Lindsay, obviously he's sober, so I'm sure they're not partying that as much, but they're waking up on time. They're always making their bed. They're clean. You can see their room is clean. The big bedroom down on the first floor where like Sam sleeps, I think Danielle sleeps. I can't remember like who else is in that room. That room always seems really clean. But Kyle and Amanda's room is disgusting. And Paige and the girls' rooms are disgusting. And I don't understand why these girls cannot clean up. Forget Summer House, like put them on an episode of Hoarders. We need to do some sort of crossover of the joy of, Marie Kondo or the home edit and Summer House. Why are we watching that? I don't know. Do you guys like struggle with the mess of these shows sometimes? It's a lot. Now, for the most part, there's always that one person that cleans up in the morning, always wakes up early and cleans up all the beer bottles and the Loverboy cans that you see all over everywhere. But it feels very just gross. So anyway, this entire group of girls who love to talk shit, they love to talk smack, and they sit in their rooms and they like chill in and then just talk crap quietly and kind of gang up the entire season, all of a sudden decide it's the reunion. I'm pulling out my big words. Paige, who actually I started to like in this year's Summer House, kind of liked her. I liked some of her comments. Like, I loved the dungaree moment when she was like, What are dungarees? Are those jeans for the British? So funny. Paige was such a bitch at this reunion. And I'm telling you, it is not a good look. The way that she goes after Lindsay is so intense. It's so tough. Anything Lindsay says, Paige has a clap back. Paige calls her fake. Paige calls them that they spin all the stories. Paige calls them that they, everything is premeditated. But the best thing about this is we got receipts of the opposite. So Lindsay keeps her cool the entire show. And she's like, show me receipts. Like, why are you coming to me with all these intense words and you're not showing me exactly what's going on here? Meanwhile, you remember that Lindsay and Carl, for all intents and purposes, and we don't know for sure, but they seem like they have a really healthy relationship. They go to couples therapy. He's sober. They're dealing with the fact that she still drinks and like how to, move forward so that she doesn't feel like she resents him, that she can't drink. How can they like get along? It seems to me that they are pretty decent people. And I'm friends with Morgan, who has another podcast. And I think she's one of these people that they were all talking about, like the bloggers. Oh, you always go to the bloggers. Well, Morgan and Lindsay have a relationship, a friendship, and Lindsay took Morgan around at BravoCon, and I spoke to Morgan on my show a while back, and she was like, I love Lindsay. Like, Lindsay's great. So you hear all these bad things and these good things, but Paige mentioned at one point that one of the reasons she feels like they are incredibly fake is that they got engaged on the beach. Not only was Lindsay wearing all this perfect clothes and she was like dressed to the nines for this, but they got engaged at the beach and then they went on to be in a People magazine article that was dropped the next day. Well, Paige's comments were like, this is obviously premeditated. You got engaged and 4 hours later, People magazine had done this article about you. Well, my friend, actually, his name is Dave Quinn. I don't know if you guys know who he is other than this, but Dave Quinn is a People magazine journalist. I'm pulling up the tweet that he tweeted about this. He's a People magazine journalist. He also wrote the book Not All Diamonds and Rose, which is the oral history of the Real Housewives. It's the book where he interviews every single Real Housewife, but basically throughout the years. And I know Jeff Lewis has a big bone to pick with Dave, but I love Dave. And Dave is actually, we met on an app called Clubhouse, which is social audio app a few years ago, and he's fantastic, and we share a lot of mutual friends. Hold on, I have to take a sip of water. My throat is so dry today. Okay, so yesterday Paige mentioned this idea that I know how this works. They got engaged and People magazine was out there. They called people. So of course, Dave Quinn, thank God, came back out and said, did he delete this? You guys, did he delete the tweet? I think he deleted it. Dave Quinn Page. I was going to his Twitter and it's just not there. You guys, I think he deleted it. Unless it's like in some different section, but I was just on his page and it's not there. Oh my gosh. So basically, Paige DeSorbo is facing backlash for questioning Summer House co-stars Lindsay Hubbard and Carl Radke's relationship. And she was basically saying, that she was, going after them, whatever we were saying. And then what happened was, it would be really good if I was planned here. Oh, yeah. She accused them of several things, including that their August 2022 engagement was premeditated, that the relationship is pretty fake, and they just lie about everything. Well, so People magazine basically came back and said a rep from the network called and asked People to run a story because Lindsay and Carl were celebrating in a public space where plenty of people could see them. Bravo worried the news would be leaked, likely by those people or by their co-stars. So I wrote fast, Dave Quinn tweeted. And then he basically said, like, she doesn't know how People magazine works. Now, Couple comments here. Lindsay and Carl are whack jobs. I'm team Paige too. You guys, I see why you would be. I also can't even believe that you think for a second that Paige is not like pot calling kettle. She loves to talk shit about all these other people, and she's doing the exact same thing. This mean comment about, well, you don't have jobs, or you're fake, or you're rude, or this and that. Why? Why is Paige so obsessed with taking Lindsay down? It doesn't work for me, and it's confusing, and it's mean girl behavior. And I understand, like, maybe why Danielle would want to take Lindsay down, or why Sierra doesn't like Lindsay, but essentially Paige has decided long time ago that she and all her little minions don't like Lindsay, and they will always take them down. It didn't feel good to watch, and it also looks real bad for Paige. If I were Paige, I would see some sort of more, I think, like, be above it. To me, it feels like you guys, so many comments are coming in on the TikTok. This is why you guys have to be here live for the TikTok, because people are so intense. So a lot of people are saying that Lindsay is a challenge. Like I told you, you've heard people say that Lindsay speaks meanly or whatever. I think Lindsay has a little bit of a Ramona quality, and she probably speaks without thinking. She's probably filter free. But I also have met many people who say Lindsay is the nicest. So you have to remember, there's always going to be three sides to every story, right? There's going to be the person's side. It's going to be someone else's side. And so we don't have, as fans, we're just hearing what they're saying and just taking it for word. I truly believe that Paige probably has been nasty in the past too. Like, you're saying Paige has never been nasty in all her time. You're also saying, like, the fact that, they were going down on Gabby for the fact that she still gets money from her parents. You're telling me Paige is fully self-made? That Paige never got any help from her mom and her dad? It's mean. I think, and I've said this before many, many times, I think Lindsay needs to go and do the next season of Real Houses in New York. I don't think she should. Well, I can't imagine Lindsay and Carl are back on Summer House. They can't be. Carl, I've said it many times, love him, but he's watching paint dry on TV. He is so damn boring. Okay. I personally do not think that that's good TV myself. But you know what I want to know. So on May 30th, yesterday, it said, quiet, please. Sorry, an ad comes up onto this, onto page 6. There was an article that says Lindsay Hubbard denies throwing shoe at a Summer House producer. Lindsay Hubbard shut down Paige DeSorbo's claim that she hurled a shoe at a Summer House producer. There is no shoe. There is no shoe to the producer. And Hubbard was responding to a heated confrontation she had with DeSorbo, how she allegedly treats her other co-stars, the way you treat production, the way you treat fans. Even Andy Cohen knows you're rude. He had to yell at you at BravoCon for the way you speak to his employees. And maybe that's the case. Honestly, maybe that's the case. Like, I think all of them, hey, Emmett. Oh my gosh, so cute. I think all of them are probably rude at times. I just think it's like, it's a little bit of a witch case, or like a witch trial. I feel like they're really down to take Lindsay down, and I'm sick of it. And I also don't like a lot of the girls on that side, if you know what I mean. Paige, I think she's great at certain things. I don't like the way she is on Summer House. I think she's boring. Kyle and Amanda, fine. Danielle, oh my goodness, we saw a bad side of her this season. Maya, the way Maya upsets me so much. Here's my issue with Maya. The way she talked to Sam and tried to like make this whole thing out that, Sam, I was just trying to protect you. So she took Sam into a bathroom in one of the first episodes and said, you're a lot. You talk too much. If someone said that to me, which by the way, they've said that to me my entire life. Like, I've heard that my entire life, right? Because some people just have a big personality. If someone said that to me on a reality show, I would literally I wouldn't know how to handle it. That's like people saying to me on the podcast, Donna, you talk too much. What the hell else am I supposed to do? It's a podcast. You're on a reality show. What do you want her to be quiet? She has a personality. Maya is awful. Awful. And I never felt that way before this season, but that was so mean. And then she brought nothing to the show. Aw, thanks, Sarah. She brought nothing to the show. She brought no personality. She brought no storyline with her issue with Oliver. She just sucks, you guys. She sucks. And if someone told me on a reality show when I'm like, Donna, you're too much, you're like, a lot of people are talking about you and you're too much, I would literally, these are the things that trigger me. And you know what? When Sam cried about it, I understood it 100% because when you have a big personality and you are a big talker and you are kind of out there, people like to take you down. People don't like that. And I think that was a very, very telling part of Maya. Now, Maya and Sierra supposedly have a podcast. I have no interest in listening to it. A, because I don't like Maya, and B, because Sierra is beautiful, but a big nothing burger, in my opinion, in terms of a reality star. She's stunning. She brings nothing to the show, in my opinion. Just saying. Gabby, on the other hand, the new girl Gabby and Sam, love them. Love them. So if I had to recast Summer House for next year, I would say Sam and Corey, because they're boyfriend, girlfriend. That would be good. I think Gabby. I think that's it. And then just bring in a bunch of young people. I don't think anyone else. What do you guys think? I want to know what you guys think would be the best cast. Carl and Lindsay need to walk so far away from that show. Kyle and Amanda, it's getting to be too much. Like, enough. Kyle just had his 40th birthday party. That's me. Like, I'm partying. That would be me at the Summer House. Like, it's so weird. So who knows? Really, who knows? Okay, what else is going on? I'm trying to think. We're gonna have another episode of Summer House reunion next week. I'm not into the mean girl. Not into it. Okay, then let's talk just for a second. Real Housewives of OC is coming back on June 7th. We all remember that Real Housewives of OC had a real bad trailer. Do you guys remember that? It was a pretty bad trailer and it felt like really boring. Well, I've talked to, a few people that know the show and I've heard Tamra Judge now talk about this all the time. Supposedly it's a great season. So are you guys going to be into it? Are we going to watch The Real Houses of OC? How can we not? I mean, I personally think we need to watch it. So there's a new trailer. I believe it's a new trailer that just came out 3 hours ago. Tamra Judge posted it, and maybe it's not a trailer, but it's like a video of Tamra on a is it Tamra on a motorcycle? The whole camera coming back. That's a lot. That is a lot of pressure for Tamra Judge, but I feel like I'll watch it. So that's June 7th. And then meanwhile, we have, of course, the last two Vanderpump Rules reunions this week and next week. And it's like, can we get to the end of this already? I understand we're all still obsessed, but can we get to the end? I want to see what's going on, what this big revelation that all of us are up in a tizzy about, that it's going to end up being nothing. And we all know that, right? It's going to totally, unless they make something up. Let's talk for a second about Lala. Again, I've talked about this many times. Lala is incredibly polarizing. Lots of people love Lala. Lots of people can't stand Lala. But Lala can't stand Tom Sandoval. And she literally went, like, she can't let it go. Maybe more so than anyone on that show. And I'm wondering what's going on there. Now, we all think that Lala's projecting her feelings towards Randall, towards Tom. That's why she was like going at him so much at the reunion. But now we're months later, like months after the whole scandal started, at least a month after the reunion was shot. I think 2 months after the reunion was shot. Lala should move on a little bit, no? So I guess over the weekend, I talked about on yesterday's show that Tom Sandoval was pictured on a plane and he was talking on a phone call to Raquel. Whether or not it was stage, fake, real, whatever. Someone asked Paige, because I'm sure Paige knows. Lala posted in her stories and she just went off. This clown is calling his first side chick while he's on his way to bang a second side chick and probably some randos, da 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 da. I want her to stop. Okay, so she said in her podcast that after VPR is done, meaning in 2 weeks, she'll stop. But I don't know what to do here because it feels, you know what tricked me or tripped me up was when Ariana was on Call Her Daddy and said, Lala's not really part of my inner circle, or she wasn't really part of our inner circle. So that's why this whole thing is like throwing me off a little bit with Lala getting so intense about it. It makes me feel a little bit, please don't come after me, but it does make me feel a little bit thirsty and a little bit like I need to insert myself in drama that I was not really ever part of. Lala and Ariana may be good friends now, but I don't think Lala and Ariana have ever been considered like the tightest of the group, ever. Ariana, like, even Katie's not going so hard for Tom Sandoval, and Katie really has a reason to. Sheena's not doing it. Like, what's going on there? So that kind of just like feels a little bit like I need to insert myself because this has done amazing for my show, my podcast, my Instagram, which, by the way, any single one of the people that is talking about Vanderpump Rules, everyone is doing well because of this. But I also will say one thing. If I see one more podcast with Peter Madrigal as the guest, guys, we're at low-hanging fruit. Is anyone actually listening to another podcast of Peter Madrigal? That's like me getting, who would it be like me getting on the podcast? That's like me getting the girl who co-owns Sir with Lisa on my podcast. It's like, no thanks. There's too much good content. The fact that you guys listen to me and watch me every day is the most amazing thing. There's way too much content for you to ever get me to sit and listen to a 1 hour Peter Madrigal podcast. No offense. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll have to see. I'm curious what happens tomorrow night. And that is that, you guys. Fun episode. Thank you for indulging me once again with Daily Dose of Donna. I appreciate the subscribes, the shares, the love. And I'll read some live comments tomorrow. And make sure that you guys subscribe, follow, tell your friends, put it in your Instagram stories. I will always share it. Make sure to follow on Instagram and on TikTok. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, dosers.